I picked up Aero Pegasus to answer once and for all whether this blade is pay to win or not, and what I found was extremely surprising. Let's talk about it. So if you don't know, Aero Pegasus is a limited edition Beyblade only available through the Beyblade X app in Japanese or Asian markets. It's only available through this gacha-like reward system in these apps, which means you cannot purchase it in stores. And on top of that, it's one of, if not the hardest Beyblade to get in these apps, with an extremely low percentage chance of you actually winning the Beyblade. Because of this, this blade goes for obscene amounts of money on the secondhand market because you can't purchase it anywhere else and it's an extremely competitive part. Your only options to get the blade are through winning it in the Beyblade X app in Japanese and Asian markets, and then likely having to use a proxy shipping service to get it to you, or purchasing one on the secondhand market for hundreds of dollars. So you might be asking yourself, you gotta jump through all these hoops to get the blade. Why would someone do that? Why is it worth it? Well, it's really, really good. And you can't get it any other way. The exclusive aspect, combined with the fact that it is one of the top competing blades in the meta right now, makes it extremely desirable and kind of a status symbol almost in the community. It's a fairly heavy blade, but the difference between it and other comparable attack blades is that it has more of an inward weight distribution, which means that it's able to stabilize and balance itself a little bit better than other similar blades. By the way, if you're trying to get your hands on your own Aero Pegasus, I recently put out a full guide on how to install and use the Japanese Beyblade X app. Try your hand at the gacha system and see if you can win one yourself. That video will be linked down below as well as on the screen somewhere here, so hopefully that's helpful to you. So back to the main question, if the blade is this good and it's that hard to get, how is it not pay to win? Well, I wanted to answer that question, and I wanted to look at it two ways, through the data and just through some hands-on analysis and observations. Let's start by talking about the data. I've partnered with my friend Joss to build an incredibly cool and interesting tool that was coded from the ground up by him, not me to be clear, but it analyzes all of the results from the WBO winning combinations thread from the very beginning of the thread up until now, and gives points to a specific combo. And we're able to use this tool to understand which combos, blades, parts, ratchets, bits, all that stuff, what's most competitive in the scene right now. And not every win is held in equal regard. Wins that are more current within the last 30 days are given a much higher multiplier than wins within the past 31 to 90 days, which are given a higher multiplier than wins within the past 91 to 180 days. And then any wins older than that are given a significant point reduction in terms of how much they're worth in the system that we've created. Looking through the data, I was able to see that Wizard Rod 960 Ball is the most competitive combo by far, followed by various combinations of Cobalt Dragoon and Phoenix Wing. You know what blade doesn't break into the top 5? Aero Pegasus. You know what blade doesn't break into the top 10 or 15? Aero Pegasus. Looking exclusively at blades, Aero Pegasus doesn't even crack the top 5. It sits at number 6 in terms of the most competitive blades based on this tool in the system that we're using to analyze the data. It comes in behind Wizard Rod, Cobalt Dragoon, Phoenix Wing, Tyranno Beat, and Silver Wolf. And then if you look at combos overall, Aero Pegasus does not crack the top 10 or even the top 15. It comes in at 16th place in this tool. Now, anecdotally, yes, less people have access to Aero Pegasus, which means that it's not going to be present in as many tournaments. But we have to keep in mind how the WBO winning combinations thread works. You're not just looking at all of the blades that are present, but you're looking at only the podium finishers, right? If Aero Pegasus truly was pay to win, I think we would see it have a much stronger position in this tool and in these rankings than it does now. And this is where a bit of a blend of art and science and observation kind of have to come into play. Clearly, not as many people have access to Aero Pegasus as they do Phoenix Wing or Tyranno Beat. So you might be saying, oh, those are comparable blades, and they're ranking above Aero Pegasus, if everyone that had those blades instead had used Aero Pegasus might be scoring higher. But to that I say, we need to go back to the idea of the question, is Aero Pegasus pay to win? There is clearly viability from blades like Phoenix Wing and Tyranno Beat to fill in the role that Aero Pegasus typically plays in a deck. And those blades are extremely accessible, at least compared to Aero Pegasus. So I don't think you can say that Aero Pegasus is pay to win when you can build a combo or a deck using Wizard Rod, Cobalt Dragoon, Phoenix Wing, Silver Wolf, Tyranno Beat, all of which have combos that score above the highest scoring combo of Aero Pegasus. I understand the conversation is nuanced due to the availability or lack thereof of Aero Pegasus, but this to me tells me that it's not pay to win because there is a path, a clear path to success without Aero Pegasus. And there's another element of this conversation that I want to bring into play related to my background with Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing that game competitively. There are definitely more pay-to-win elements in Yu-Gi-Oh! Than there are in Beyblade. There have been countless occasions that right before a regional tournament or a national tournament even, there's been new products that come out that have certain cards in them that are both hard to get and extremely impactful in the meta. What happens there is those who have, compared to the have-nots, are able to get their hands on those cards either through luck or more often than not, spending enough money, and they're able to compete at those tournaments and win just due to the fact that they're able to get their hands on those cards. There are no objective alternatives to those cards. They're just good. And yes, over time, more people are able to get those cards. They might be hit by a ban list in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or they might be reprinted to be easier to get. But the fact of the matter is that regardless of any specific cards, that is a moment that repeats itself time and time again in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't really think that's the case in Beyblade. I just was thinking about what I would do if I were talking to someone who wanted to get into the top tiers of competitive Beyblade and didn't have anything. You can go out right now and buy 5 products for $70 and have the #1 most competitive deck in Beyblade X right now based on the data. Those products are Wizard Rod 160 Rush, Phoenix Wing 960 Gear Flat Deluxe Set, Cobalt Dragoon 260 Cyclone, Tide Whale 580 Elevate, which is granted a very new product, but nonetheless is still available, and Wizard Aero 480 Ball. You can ratchet swap the 580 ratchet from Tide Whale with the 260 ratchet from Cobalt Dragoon to create a 560 ratchet, and from there, you can make Wizard Rod 960 Ball, Phoenix Wing 160 Rush, and Cobalt Dragoon 560 Elevate. And what do you know? Those are the exact 3 top combos in the WBO winning combinations thread data that I talked about earlier. So is Aero Pegasus a sick Beyblade? Yeah. Does it do really well? Yeah. Is it really well balanced and hyper competitive? Yeah. But do you need it to win? Absolutely not. Aero Pegasus is great, but Phoenix Wing and Tyranno Beat offer comparable levels of competitive performance in the attack-based role, and you could literally go to a Target or Walmart and probably buy those right now. And for literally a fraction of the price of Aero Pegasus by itself, you could get an entire deck of the most competitive Beyblade X parts, period. If your definition of pay to win is when all else is equal, one person having Aero Pegasus means that they're going to win over someone who does not have Aero Pegasus, I think the answer is very clearly no. Aero Pegasus is not pay to win. There's just too many other competitive options readily available and too many other elements at play in any given Beyblade match to define Aero Pegasus as pay to win. But hey, that's just me, and I own the blade. But what do you think? Is Aero Pegasus pay to win? Am I oversimplifying this? Am I ignoring a crucial element that I needed to keep in mind? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this controversial blade, whether you've picked it up or want to pick it up. I'm curious. Don't forget down below to like the video if you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already to get more awesome Beyblade X content in your feed very soon. My name is Ryan with Anti-Wizard Wizard Club, and welcome to the club.